chair will now open the floor to any public comment. I'll need your name and address for the record.
I think you need to discuss the cities that are being chosen for this vote.
We'll have a press release on that.
Marcy Fair, 1749 Ridgedale Drive. I have a question. In the work session, something was said, and I don't understand it, and I need clarification. Russell said, with regard to the solid waste franchise, that there was an alternative proposal. They said revenue numbers that were used were too high, and it was optimistic projections, and there were permitting questions. Materials are coming from where and what types, and there are contracting issues that the city would not be protected. What is this?
Let me go ahead and usually I don't answer that, but when we requested bids, different firms submitted additional services that could be provided to the city, which are outside of the bid. And so we're looking at those additional services.
What are they? What kind of additional services?
You have to get with Russell on that and talk about it, because it's all over the spectrum. So I'd ask if you want to talk.
And how many companies submitted these?
4.
4 companies
the 4
submitted alternative proposals?
Well, in other words, they submitted additional sweeteners to the deal, so to speak. And, that's why the city attorney said basically we've got to look at the basic, what was asked for. So we're looking at everything that's presented to us in our proposals. The city staff is investigating and will provide a report to us on those. Trevor, is there anything else that should?
I'm glad to answer.
Okay, go ahead.
Detail if you like. As the mayor said, three of the 4 vendors offered some alternatives. Most of them were fairly innocuous, things like recycling education and some very minor things. One of the vendors offered a pretty major additional level of service. And essentially what it would involve would be converting the present recycling center area into what's known as a clean materials recovery facility. Essentially what would happen then is they would take recyclable wastes that they had collected, bring to that location, some minor processing, essentially separation, putting all the glass together and all the metal cans together and all the plastics and whatnot together. And then baling those and then shipping them out to the end location where they're ultimately sold to folks who take those materials and actually use them in production. There would be basically what the proposal did was offer the city in essence royalties that the company would get from processing that waste, that they would get from selling it to people who purchase the recovered materials. The projections we think, in looking at them, are probably a little bit optimistic in terms of what that might, the amount of money the city might actually receive back in the form of these royalties. We're still looking at those numbers. We're still investigating those. We still have a number of questions about the operation of the facility and more of the details of that they didn't address in their proposal. So we are pursuing that and doing the due diligence, and analyzing that to see if it would be in the best interest of the city.
So there was only one company?
Only one proposed this particular type of facility.
Can you tell me who that was?
For advanced disposal.
And I can come see you and get some more information?
Sure.
Yeah, those documents are public records. You can request them.
Okay, I'll give you a call tomorrow. Thank you.
Any other comments from the public? And while we're waiting for Mr. Tanger to come over, I would like to recognize former council member Melvin Everson in the back, former representative, and now chairman of the governor's workforce training. Welcome, Melvin, good to see you. Go ahead.
Roy Tangley, 1824 Dogwood. In reference to the motion that was $28,000 we made for the new building, as I understand it, is there such a thing as you folks being fair to the small man on the totem pole, or does everything have to go to the dumpster box because some lazy person can't sign off before they go in to get something? I've been through all this, and there is no excuse, and you, young lady, are an attorney. You know as well as I do that if you come in to get something and you sign off, if you get hurt, you are on your own. There's no reason why that this building is going to be torn down. We as the general public can give you $28,000 to work with. We're not arguing that. But give us the fair end of the deal. Not the stubby stick like you did when the police department, oh, it's got to be torn down, and 6 weeks later, it went. There was no reason that building should have been salvaged out, and then whatever's left, take it to the dumpster, fine. But let the small people on that help paying the taxes. And I think there's no reason why that can be. If this don't work, then we don't have to do it anymore. But I see no reason if people step up and be honest and say, if you want it, Jerry, if you want the front door off the thing with the locks, you pay for it, and you sign out, and if somebody gets hurt in your crew, Tarsinski.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wish to speak? I'll need your name and address for the record.
Mr. Mayor, Council, Melvin Everson, 1725, Line Increase, Old Snellville, Georgia. Executive Director, Governor's Office of Workforce Development. I just want to bring your attention to a bill that was passed this past session that's going to affect seniors who take the work rate assessment voluntarily. I'm glad to have a student here from South Gwinnett. Currently now, they take that assessment voluntarily, and various school systems recognize those students in various capacities. But commencing in 2012, all the seniors who take that work rate assessment, they will have on their high school diploma a Georgia work rate certification seal, thereby certifying them to be work ready. And the reason we're doing this is because we are losing quite a few of our youngsters. I'm going to give you some stats here. Out of 100 students that enroll in K through 12, start their education, only 56 will graduate from high school. Out of 56, 26 will go on to college, four-year institution. Out of that 26, only 6 will complete college. You take those same numbers, 100 go to a technical school, only 3 will complete a technical degree. So this work rate assessment is another tool in the toolbox to further guide those students towards the career path that they choose if they decide to go to a 2-year institution or a 4-year institution. Because we are losing too many of our young people in those transformational years, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and we're just trying to expose them to other career path options. So Governor Deal is going to sign this, and it's a great benefit for those seniors who take that work rate assessment. By the way, there's no charge for that. You take it at the Gwinnett Technical College. And by the way, over 900 100 companies in Georgia look for that work ready certification certificate when they go to hire someone. This is the wave of the future. So to the listening audience and to those here, look out for this work ready assessment, because this is what the job market is coming to. Thank you so much. I want to bring that to your attention.
Thank you, good to see you again, Melvin. Any other comments? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting. There's a motion by Mrs. Spahn. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Second by Mr. Witz. All those in favor of the motion to adjourn the meeting, signify by raising the right hand. That's 6. No in opposition. This meeting is adjourned. We'll reconvene the work session at 9 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the back. Thank you all very much. You're all welcome to go back to the work session.